I'd like to welcome everybody to the Southbridge Town Council meeting, Monday, March 30th, 2026, 7 p.m., McKinney Council Chambers. First agenda, pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda item number 2, Madam Secretary, roll call.
Councilor Lazo.
Present.
Councilor Montigny.
Present.
Councilor Adams.
Excuse.
Thank you. Councilor Chenier.
Present.
Councilor Daniel.
Present.
Councilor Dow.
Present.
Councilor Kelly.
Present.
Councilor Ortiz.
Present.
And Councilor Provost.
Present.
Thank
We
you.
have a quorum. Consider to accept the minutes of February 26, 2026. We'll vote them individually, just in case you want to amend one and not the other.
So move.
There's a motion and a second on February 26th. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to the minutes of that meeting? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to March 9th, 2026. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to the minutes of that meeting? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all
Abstain.
present.
Abstain. March 9th, I abstain.
One abstention. Councilor Daniels abstains. Moving on to subcommittee reports. Department of Public Works. He is not here tonight. I don't know if there's a report. Moving on to Education and Services. Councilor.
Thank you, Mr. Lazo, Chairman Lazo. We have Monday, March 23rd at 6 p.m. We had a meeting, and I think there's about 9 items on the agenda tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. General Gov. Councilor Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. We had a meeting on March 18th, and on tonight's agenda, items number 15, 18, and numbers 30 through 33 were covered.
Thank you, Councilor. Moving on to Planning and Development. Councilor Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. We had meetings on Wednesday, March 18th, and Thursday, March 26th. Items 14, 21, 22, 23, 34, 35, 36, 37 were all discussed, and there are no future meetings scheduled at this time.
Thank you. Protection of Person and Property. Councilor Ortiz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, we haven't had a meeting and don't have one scheduled. Thank you.
Moving on to Chairman's announcements. I'd just like to take a moment of silence at this time for a former councilor, Mark DePietro, very young fellow. He did a lot for the town of Southbridge. He donated a lot of his time. I'd just like to take a moment of silence. Thank you very much. I have no further announcements. Moving on to town manager's announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you. First off, happy to announce that the RFP for the airport diner was reviewed by the Airport Commission, and a recommendation was made to the town manager. The RFP for the most advantageous to the town was a local resident, Carmen Torres, and her partner, Alma D'Souza. Mr. D'Souza is affiliated with D'Souza's Catch in Leicester, as well as a food truck. They will be looking to offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We're in the process of reviewing the lease agreement. Hope to have it finalized to be approved by the town council by the end of the April meeting. Maritza has quite a few announcements regarding solid waste and recycling. First off, curbside collection. The municipal curbside leaf and yard waste collection will begin on Monday, April 20th through Friday, May 30th. That is offered to our curbside customers that participate in our program. The pickup is on the same day as trash and recycling. Yard waste will not be collected in any plastic bags, and do not use your trash and recycling containers for this as well. On April 25th, Southbridge will be holding its annual community cleanup to beautify Southbridge. The rain date will be April 26th. Groups, individuals, and businesses will gather at the town hall for registration at 8:30 a.m. with cleanup beginning at 9 a.m. and will end at noon. Town will provide grabbers, gloves, and bags, and we hope you can join Maritza and the team on that day. On Saturday, May 30th, we will be hosting a Southbridge residential drop-off event. This will not be a hazardous waste day. This is simply a residential drop-off event which will be able to bring microwaves, refrigerators, white goods, air conditioners, TVs, electronics, mattresses, tires, and textiles. This will be, again, held at the DPW yard. There will be costs associated with disposal of those items. Again, this is not the Hazardous Waste Day, and this is sponsored by the town of Southbridge and is subsidized by the Recycling Dividends Grant Program. So that will be participating in that, and we hope we can take advantage of that. And just in regards to some concerns that have been expressed over social media relative to our community development block grant public hearings. First off, I want to say that I know Ms. Dean, the Director of Economic Development and Planning, goes above and beyond to solicit as much information from any resident, any group, any partner to get information as to our grant applications. However, we understand that there were concerns about the most recent public hearing, which was held on March 16th at 5 p.m. in the Town Hall. The hearing was posted in English and Spanish. It was in the Telegram and Gazette on March 1st and March 8th. It was posted at the Jacob Edwards Library. It was posted on the Police Department's Facebook page, and we did have a recording can be found on the town's cable channel. However, in an effort to increase public participation, we will be holding another public hearing on April 7th at 5 p.m. in the Economic Development and Planning Department, the Town Hall basement. Anyone wishing to provide public input about our CDBG programs or upcoming application is welcome to attend. You can also provide feedback and write into Peg Dean by her email address, which you can find on the website. Unlike public meeting requirements under the open meeting law, community development block grant public hearings do not need to be posted on the clerk's bulletin board or on the town's website, though we often do. The requirements for CDBG state that public notification can include the following: newspaper, article notices, public service spots on radio or cable television, brochures, flyers at various locations within each of the communities participating in a joint activity or program, bulletin boards, and legal advertisements. So we are soliciting additional comments for our CDBG submission, so please take advantage of those ability to provide input, and that's all I have right now, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Town Manager. Moving on to presentations. At this time, I'd recognize the Town Clerk, Madeline Bonadias. Citizens petition being presented.
Good evening, councilors. I'm here this evening to present the initiative petition regarding Central Mass 911 District for provision of regional dispatch in emergency communications and services. According to the Southbridge Home Rule Charter, Chapter 12-3-1, the voters of the town may initiate legislation by submitting a petition to the town council, which requests the submission of the proposed bylaw or measure to a vote of the town council. Said petition must be signed by qualified voters of the town equal in number to not less than 5% of the total number of voters registered at the last regular town election. The last town election was held on June 10th, 2025. 5% of the 14,957 voters is 748. As of March 25th, 2026, the town clerk's office has certified 758 signatures. According to the Southbridge Home Rule Charter, Chapter 12-3-3, upon presentation of the certified petition to the town council, it shall become the duty of the town council within 30 days of receipt thereof to pass and adopt or reject such a bylaw or measure without alteration as to legislation. Should the town council reject the proposed legislation, it shall be the further duty of the town council to forthwith submit the question to a vote at the next regular town election, at which the qualified voters of Southbridge shall vote on the question of adopting or rejecting the proposed legislation. So at this time, I would just like to notify you that 758 signatures have been certified at this time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Moving on to the FY 2027 budget. Mr. Town Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It is with pleasure that I submit to you the fiscal 2027 budget. First off, I'd like to thank all my staff, my department heads, workers in the town hall and throughout the town for their hard work in preparing this budget document. Especially like to thank Dean, Christine, Jeanette, and Nora in these budget submission. Again, it's been a challenging year for us to put forward this budget. In the budget packet that I submit to you tonight is a 15-page document that outlines pretty extensively the budget as we move forward this season. There are a lot of uncertainties as we entered this budget season relative to state funds, the impact of the big, beautiful bill, as the state partners call it, from the federal government, as well as our own local level of funding. Our goal this year was to, again, provide a level service budget. We were able to do that and maintain staff at the 2026 levels. There have been requests for some additional staff, especially in the fire department, as well as a review of our dispatch operations. At this time, given the fiscal constraints that we are under, we're not able to add that staff at this time. However, through the budget season, if additional funds become available or through recommendations of the council, we can revisit those items. This budget as presented this evening provides a general operating budget, including schools, in the amount of $83,306,764. When we add in our enterprise funds in the water, sewer, and solid waste enterprise funds, our total budget for the town of Southbridge is $95,851,684. It is a large, expansive budget. Again, this budget as presented just level services our operations. At this time, in regards to revenue, we are not recommending free cash to be used, as this is a one-time revenue. It is not fiscally prudent. The budget is recommended at the maximum tax levy as allowed by law, which means we would max to the 2.5 levy limit as established. Last fiscal year, we were below the limit by approximately $7,000. In FY25, we also presented a budget that was at the levy limit. However, when we set the tax rate, we were able to review our funds and our income to date, and we were able to pull back some of that money on the tax levy. We'll look to do that again this year as we work through the budget process. School funding for this year. The minimum net school requirement for the town of Southbridge, as reviewed by the school, requested $40,654,670. The town, in reviewing the net school minimum requirements, and one of the benefits of having Mr. Iacobucci working in our office is that as he was a school business official, he's very familiar with the school spending requirements. Our estimate is $40,304,792. So we are working with the school department in regards to that matter. However, they have been instructed that the number that they are to bring their budget in is at the $40,304,000 that we have recommended. We believe this is the right number. It will be refined as the budget moves forward. The school superintendent receiver is slated to present his budget to the school committee on April 14th, 2026. As a result, their detailed budget is not part of this budget packet, and upon their adoption of the budget on that night, I will forward that to the town council for further review. Bay Path, our regional school district, has requested the budget at their minimum spending requirements. The superintendent has requested, if possible, if the EHS subcommittee could schedule the meeting for April 9th to have a meeting at 5:30 p.m. So if Vice Chairman Montague can schedule that, that would be great. Health insurance continues to be a major factor in our budget. Our health insurance costs this year have risen at a 9.3% rate, which relates to a $916,000 increase in our budget. Retirement is also a major factor in this budget. Our assessment for our retirement assessment alone has increased $267,000. Of that, the unfunded portion that is mandated for us is $2.9 million. This portion that's required for us to contribute is money otherwise that we would have been available to either lessen the tax levy or use for other factors. Our free cash for the year is certified at $1,788,000. We'll be presenting our proposals on the allocation of those funds during the budget season. In the document, also enterprise funds. This year we did a really review of our enterprise funds, including water and sewer and the solid waste. I'm happy to report with extensive work by all in the town hall and those parties that manage those enterprise funds, where we will see a decrease in our water budget of approximately 1%, a slight increase of 0.1% in our sewer operations, and a decrease of approximately 11.5% in the solid waste accounts. Through the first 2 quarters of FY26, we are on target with our revenue projections, and based on these findings, it is anticipated that we may be able to hold the rates steady with no rate increase for FY27. We will be doing the presentation to the Town Council regarding the solid waste program, as well as resolving an issue with the retained earnings under solid waste. Some of the factors to consider in FY27. Tonight, upon ratification of the public safety dispatchers, in FY26, we have negotiated successfully the police officers' bargaining unit as well as public safety. We are in ongoing negotiations with the fire department and with the hope of ratifying an agreement by the end of this fiscal year. The FY27 budget that we are proposing right now does have contingencies in case that bargaining goes into the next fiscal year. The FY27 budget also reflects the increases that will take place due to the dispatcher and police officer collective bargaining agreements. As part of this FY27 budget in our cable TV program, we are finding that due to the decrease in subscribers to Spectrum, we do not have the same revenue as we've had in the past, and this may result in a subsidy from the town if we so choose. We are reviewing the program and the further revenue receipts as we obtain them through the end of this fiscal year to recommend a change of how we operate this program or maintain it in the future. Another factor to consider in FY27 is the animal control shelter. The animal control shelter is currently under design, and we're waiting on the opinion of probable cost. One of the major factors that will impact the FY27 tax rate is the completion of the fire station. In FY27, we will need to borrow the full amount of the debt exclusion of $25.7 million. In this fiscal year of FY27, it's approximately $1 million that will be added to the tax rate on the debt exclusion. That is one of the major factors is why we really want to try to at least keep water, sewer, and curbside at a flat rate to lessen the impact to the taxpayers and to maintain services throughout the year. I have outlined in the capital plan, you can read in the document, the status of our schools, the town hall, the Department of Public Works building, the EPA cleanup at the Department of Public Works, library improvements, the community center, as well as the numerous road projects that we have ongoing. In the Water Department for the next fiscal year, there are 3 projects that we are proposing. Those projects would be funded under the retained earnings that we have this year, which would include a replacement on the Wardwell Court water line, Lemoyne Hill water loop, and the Pleasant Street Commercial Drive engineering. These would all be done with the retained earnings that we have this year, and we have approximately $1.7 million in the stabilization account for anything else that takes place. We have also reviewed the Water Department current accounts. We have determined that there's approximately $2.37 million in ongoing projects over the next few years. We are recommending that we close out several accounts in the amount of $191,000 and reallocate some of those funds to the Phase 2 River Crane project. As part of the packet I've provided to the Town Council, the Sewer Department ongoing projects. As you're aware, the town has entered into an agreement with Jacobs. They have just completed their first year. Throughout the year, they have completed an odor study as well as an asset review. As a part of those meetings, they're doing some recommendations in regards to the odor study and how to mitigate those factors, as well as the asset review, and we have some ongoing projects with SCADA to the tune of about $1.5 million. As part of the sewer projects outstanding accounts that go back to 2016, it's approximately $5.5 million worth of projects that were part of that program. And we are fortunate to have at least those projects funds available, so as we review and prioritize with Jacobs going forward, we at least have some funds to reallocate and complete projects. The departmental request for FY27 for capital total approximately $2.41 million, and those are outlined in the plan. It's a very robust budget. Again, there's a lot of uncertainties as we move forward. I'd like to thank, again, everyone for their work on this budget. We do have a lot of work to do through the subcommittee process. First page in your manual shows the various subcommittees that are needed to schedule meetings throughout the month of April. What I'd like to do is make sure that we have all these town council subcommittees hold their budget meetings throughout April. We would publish the notice in the newspapers for the public hearing for April 30th. I am proposing that the budget public hearing be held on Thursday, May 14th at 6:30 p.m. and the enterprise budget hearings also held that evening at 5 p.m. That would put us on target to adopt the budget on May 18th at the regular town council meeting. This puts us in better shape than we have been in the last 2 years, and I do look forward to working with you all on the budget. And this week we will get these documents posted up to the website so they'll be available for the public. And if there's any questions from the council, I'll take them.
Any questions, councils, of the manager on the budget? Councilor Senior.
Yes, thank you. Through you to the town manager. By the time we adopt this budget, will we have a better understanding of the cherry sheet figures in the governor's proposal?
We hope to. As part of your packet too, I should have mentioned, I have put in there the current, there's the capital planning committee, and then you go through and we have the revenue and expense items, again, allocated out. I do have the cherry sheet that shows the governor's proposed budget. As we move through the process, we'll update those numbers to you and work within the budget. I've also provided you with 2 memos from the MMA about navigating the storm, charting a course toward fiscal stability, as well as a perfect storm cities and towns face historic fiscal pressures. So we are very, I guess, fortunate that we are not in a position of an override this year, like many of our communities around us. I have advocated, and I know Representative Marcy, who sits on Ways and Means, we are advocating for increases in unrestricted government aid. That would greatly assist our community in the unrestricted government aid. And as long as the school numbers hold steady, we'll be in good shape for the shape we're in, I guess.
All right, one more question. Do you know when we're going to get the school budget and Bay Path budget?
Bay Path is part
Is
of
in
it.
the book.
Is in the book. I stated that the school committee is holding their meeting on April 14th.
Okay.
And as soon as that is provided to the school committee, I'll submit it and we'll have it as part of.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions of the manager? If not, we'll move on to citizens forum. Are there any citizens that would like to address the council on any issues that are not on the agenda? It's 5 minutes with a 5-minute extension.
Hi, Shelley Klein, 56 Newell Ave. I just want to extend my deepest gratitude to the people of Southbridge and to the town clerk's office for the overwhelming support in bringing the dispatch regionalization question to the June ballot. From the very beginning, residents stepped forward with enthusiasm, eager to sign, eager to help, and eager to make sure the question reached the voters. What happened over these past weeks is truly something special. The speed and determination in which signatures were gathered is a testament to who we are as a community. Southbridge has always shown its strength in moments when neighbors come together, and this effort was no different. Whether it was families signing at their kitchen tables, volunteers collecting signatures in front of Big Bunny, businesses like Moon Magic, Salon 769, the Taqueria offering to host a petition for signing, or residents reaching out asking how they could help, every contribution truly mattered. To the town clerk's office, thank you for your professionalism, your patience, and your commitment to ensuring this process was handled correctly and transparently. Your work has made it possible for residents' voices to be heard. And to the people of Southbridge, thank you. Your energy, your engagement, and your belief in the importance of community decision-making made this achievement possible. When Southbridge puts its mind to something, there is very little that we cannot accomplish together. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens? Are there any other citizens that would like to address the council on any issues not on the agenda? State your name and address.
Ryan Morton, President, Southbridge Permanent Firefighters, Local 2194.
Always a pleasure.
Good evening, members of the Town Council and residents of our community. Recently, our town experienced a tragic fire that many of you have heard about. During that incident, firefighters arrived quickly and immediately went to work, performing a rescue from the building. A victim was located, removed, and every possible life-saving effort was made by our firefighters and mutual aid EMS personnel. Despite those efforts, the victim ultimately succumbed to her injuries. On behalf of Local 294, our thoughts and prayers are with the victim's family during this incredibly difficult time. I want to be clear about something tonight. Our firefighters did everything they could with the resources they had. They acted with courage, professionalism, and urgency. They went inside a dangerous and hazardous environment, located a victim, and brought her out in an attempt to save her life. That is exactly what the citizens of this community expect from us, and that is exactly what the members delivered. I also want to acknowledge that this is the second fatal fire our department has faced in less than 2 years. Each of these incidents leaves a lasting impact, not only on the families involved, but on the community as a whole. Incidents like this force us to confront an uncomfortable reality. We are often asked to do more what our staffing levels safely allow. Firefighting is not an individual job. It's a coordinated team effort. National standards established by the National Fire Protection Association, specifically NFPA 1710, make it clear that the effective and safe fireground operations require a sufficient number of firefighters arriving quickly and working together. Tasks like search and rescue, deployment of hose, fire attack, ventilation, or members working on the roof, charging hose lines, attaching to a hydrant, incident command, in rapid intervention, or a team designated to assist when a firefighter is in trouble, all require personnel. When staffing is low, those tasks must be delayed, reassigned, or performed with fewer firefighters than recommended. In this most recent incident, our members were forced to make a difficult decision about which critical task could be performed first instead of coordinating multiple operations at the same time. Search and rescue was the clear priority, which meant that the protection of water for firefighters and the victim inside was delayed, and those other critical tasks were delayed because one member was performing them instead of multiple. This is the reality of operating with limited staffing. Firefighters must choose between tasks that should normally be happening simultaneously. Fire grows exponentially. The science states it doubles in size every 30 seconds to 1 minute. But our staffing has not kept pace with the demands placed on our department. When we send fewer firefighters to an emergency, we're asking a smaller group of people to accomplish the same number of critical tasks in the same dangerous conditions. This is not about criticism, and it's not about blame. It's about recognizing the gap between what our firefighters are expected to accomplish and the resources we provide them to do it. Every citizen in this town deserves the fastest, safest, and most effective emergency response possible. Every firefighter deserves the staffing necessary to operate safely and to give the victims the best possible chance of survival. We cannot undo any tragedy that occurred in the past, but we can honor the seriousness of those losses by taking action on staffing and resources. I say it again, we can take action on staffing and resources. I recognize and appreciate that both labor and management have begun discussing the challenges we currently face. However, staffing must be taken more seriously and placed on the forefront of our challenges. The men and women of this fire department will always answer the call, no matter the circumstances. They will always go inside when others are coming out. Our responsibility as a community is to ensure that when they do, they are not doing it alone. On behalf of Local 294, thank you. We look forward to working with you collaboratively. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other citizens that would like to approach the council at this time?
Hello, it's Gary Belanger, 23 Wall Street. First, I'd like to say...
Could you speak into the microphone, please? That's right. Thank you.
Now you can hear me. First, I'd like to say, the regional, yeah, it's going to be on the ballot. But to the council, I talked to Kelly, I talked to Daniels, I talked to most of you. Not one of you guys can answer the question. Where's it going to be? Don't know. How many people's going to be on a dispatch? Don't know. Why don't you know? How many towns? Don't know. Did any of you guys try to get it to come to Southbridge? We have a lot of empty buildings. Not one said yes. But there's people out there that want to dish the people that voted no on this. How can you vote for something when you have no clue? Everything sounds good until 5 years. 5 years come, also we get a bill with $2 million. Is it good? No, it sounds good, but we don't know if it's good. So how can you vote on something, put something on the ballot, have people vote when they don't know? Tell you what, I'll sell you my car. I don't know when I'm going to give it to you. I don't know how much I'm going to charge you, but sign that contract. In 5 years, you have to pay me. You going to buy my car? No, you're not going to buy the car. So let's come up with numbers. I mean, come on, numbers, simple numbers. That's what we need. You can't come up with numbers. How can you guys want it on a ballot? The people want to vote for it? Guess what? The rent's going to go higher. People in this town's going to complain more. Oh, my rent went up, my rent went up. All their taxes are going to go up. People that don't pay rent, guess what? That homeowner still has to pay taxes. Still has to repair those apartments. But yet you want people to vote on something that we don't know. To me, insane. Now, we talk about short people. I'm pretty sure the TPW is down 3 people. We talk safety. Well, how are they doing their job safe if they're down? Everything goes with safety. The fire department wants to throw the word safety out. You guys that were pushing for the regional dispatch wants to throw safety out. That's safety. If you're so concerned about safety, yet you guys walk down Main Street, Hamilton Street, Central Street after the snowstorms? Aren't the residents, businesses supposed to clear the sidewalk? You have people in wheelchairs in the road. Shouldn't they be fine? Where's the safety? What part of safety do we want? Just on the fire department? Did they do a great job? Absolutely. Tip your hat to Lieutenant Wilson for getting that lady out. Great job he did. But safety, where is safety? Who was the first one that responded to that fire? Look that up. Maybe next meeting I'll come back and let you guys know, if you don't want to do your homework, who was the first one that responded that did not enter that building but wants to talk safety. Think of it. You want safety with the fire department? Let's get call people in. Let's hire call firefighters so they only respond and get paid when there's an incident. As far as I know, on that fire, they talked about safety. There was 5 people that showed up. The alarm came, everybody else came up. How many of our firefighters showed up and got overtime? Did they all show up? They didn't all show up. They really don't care about the safety of this town. Thank you.
Is there anybody else at this time that would like to address the council on any issues that are not on the agenda?
Hi, Shelley Klein, 56 Newell Ave. I would just like to make a recommendation to Mr. Belanger that you can obtain a copy of the CMRECC
Can you talk into the
agreement
microphone?
from, sorry, I just want to make sure he hears me because we've talked about this before. That he can get a copy of the CMRECC agreement from Jack Joven, and he's also free to talk to either of the chiefs. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to help him with that information. And I also just want to say on behalf of the firefighters that that's really an unfair statement to say that they don't care about the town. I think they care about the town very much. Thank you.
I'd just like to say, if we're going to talk about this fire, you have to say that every town agency was on that scene. The police department were pulling hoses, the fire department. Everybody that I heard, the firemen did an outstanding job. The police department was like the left hand knew what the right hand was doing. It was an amazing concept, the team concept with the Southbridge groups that were working together. And I know that police officers are not firefighters, but it was amazing how they took charge of the area and helped them. So I think there were, kudos go out to the men. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to discuss when you talk about a fire like that. And I just think that life is first, property is second, but they do a great job. I'm sorry, continue.
Good evening, Town Council, Mr. Chairman, Town Manager. My name is Stephanie Rivers. I reside at 92 Harrington Street in Southbridge. So today I went to Boston, went to the State House, did a Day on the Hill event, and I had the pleasure of meeting with Senator Ryan Fatman and Representative John Marcy. And we had a great conversation. They hosted us for a half an hour today. It was a great experience. So very fortunate to be able to represent Southbridge at the State House today in Boston. I wanted to come up here, though, and talk to you tonight about something that is important to me for this town, especially downtown Main Street. I know back in 1996 began the Southbridge Business Partnership. I know because I was part of it. I helped DJ that first local event downtown in Mario's parking lot. I was playing the music. And since then, the vision has been to improve Southbridge, especially the downtown area. One of the buildings that I've seen for the last several years that has remained mostly vacant is the building at the corner of Elm and Main. I don't know the exact address on that building, but I know once long ago, Weezo had their headquarters up on the second floor. There were also local businesses up on the second floor, and I believe way back, there was a bowling alley up there at some point. But over the years, that building has come to stand empty as it is now presently. And my wish to the town council is to make it a goal for this year to please work with whoever the current owners are and maybe get that building going forward, pushed into either being sold and get business into that building, because just seeing it stand vacant year after year is disheartening, especially for our downtown, which years ago was a very vibrant downtown. And we talk about this to people who have come into Southbridge recently and ask, how is Southbridge? And those of us who have been in Southbridge for years, we go back to the yesteryear and we talk about how vibrant our downtown was, especially on Thursday nights, where it was a gathering of social interaction as well as running errands, going out to eat, that sort of thing, entertainment. And we don't have that today, and I know we're trying to get back there, but we have vacant buildings on Main Street, especially that one at the corner of Elm and Main. So I would really like to see our town councilors put just a little bit of conversations maybe with whoever the owners are, try and get that building moving, try and get some businesses into that building or residential into that building, and see if we can change that around. And then, that's it. Thank you. Have a good night.
Mr. Town Manager?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman, thank you for the opportunity. I just want to let people know that Ms. Dean, through economic development, myself as town manager, Teddy, we are advocating for people to take that building, trying to work with the owner of that building to try to market that corner. We have some investors from out of town, reputable, like the gentleman that bought the golf course, you know, who is doing improvements. So we are out there through our departments actively trying to get people to engage in that building as well as other buildings throughout. I'll let Peg announce the...
Peg, go ahead.
I don't know if I'm allowed to speak. I'm not a citizen. I'm an employee, Economic Development Planning Director, Peg Dean. I could just give a little teaser. We were actually just in an email with Walter of the family that owns that building today. In exchange, their intention is to sell. They just haven't found the right seller. So we are in communication, like the town manager said, but there is good news on the horizon for the town. We've applied for to be a case study through what's called Transforming Neighborhoods through the Councilors of Real Estate. It's a national opportunity. We are one of 4 throughout the country that real estate counselors will come to from around the country, look at the town to problem solve at a macro level assessment. How can we address Main Street, Elm Street? How can we really help trigger that revitalization? So we are working incredibly hard behind the scenes. I invite anybody to please come downstairs to the basement if they want to have a conversation about where we are with things too. Thank you.
Just a point of clarification on that building, it was a theater that was upstairs. The bowling alley was in the other buildings. Any other citizens at this time that would like to address the council? State your name and address.
Hi, Laurel Wolf. I'm at 111 Main Street. I just want to follow up on the last 2 about downtown and particularly the brick building.
Could you speak into the microphone?
The segment of Main Street with the brick buildings. The lower section is, thank you, gorgeous. I'm not from here. I've only been here about 9 years, so I have a different perspective just from a visual perspective and a lifestyle perspective. And that segment of Main Street on both sides, the old brick buildings, they all had their purpose. They're all suffering major condition issues, exterior and interior. And it could be so much more. This is really just a follow-on comment to you guys. The empty storefronts, all very discouraging. It could be so much. And one of the other tremendous advantages that Southbridge, in my opinion, has is the walkability. the layout, you can walk. Not a bad idea to maybe close off, this sounds radical, but a portion of maybe Central Street or Hamilton Street to just pedestrian and attract small businesses in where people can walk, similar to Putnam, Connecticut. Close off a few areas so people can just walk and mingle, and small local businesses would be fantastic. Absolutely everyone is longing for that. People talk about all the time. I just feel as if we're missing is a chance to really be something on a smaller scale. Big isn't always better. Maybe do whatever mechanics it takes amongst landlords and with the town. And I don't know what that takes to do to get small businesses in and not just have everything vacant and very discouraging. It's that particular segment, the brick buildings on both sides, it's discouraging. And then you get down past the big intersection and it's still really beautiful and you've still got the old buildings there. I just hope that somehow that portion of Main Street and the end of Hamilton Street that comes onto Main Street can somehow be brought up to something that people want to come to and enjoy, because people are absolutely longing for it. I just want you guys to know, people will come and spend their money. They just need a place to come and do it and have a nice time. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens that would like to address the Southbridge Town Council on any issues that are not on the agenda tonight?
Hi, my name's Kristen. I live over at 301 Main. I'm going to be really short, sweet, quick to the point tonight. I like to give recognition when I feel like it's deserved. So first and foremost, I would like to show a little appreciation and say thank you to Teddy and Chris over at the health department. I think you guys have been really great. It's definitely feels a lot better now that we're getting to a point where we are recognizing that there are issues with the building and, you know, there are a lot of safety violations, but I'm getting really happy at least with the start of the progress. I think we still have a long way to go. With that being said, I also have a concern. My concern is that, yes, our voices are being heard. Yes, inspections are going well. Things are being noted as violations. That's amazing. What do we do when the management, maintenance, whoever it may be, kind of drags their feet along the process? Now, the only thing that's concerning to me is it seems like every reinspection, the time clock starts all over again, and there's really no fines that these management properties have to face, as long as they're putting their best foot forward, if you want to call it that, and starting to make progress. What is progress? Progress is taking a problem, finding a solution, and fixing it. I've had 2 re-inspections. There's still a long list. I'm hoping that list gets a lot shorter very soon. But I would like to, maybe at some point we can, look at these fines. Why are they so low? That's not making these people really accountable for their lack of effort into repairing these violations, these buildings, which, as you're hearing, more people are speaking about it. These are our homes. This is where we have to go to. So I would just think that I would like to say that I think at some time, and I think at some time soon, that should start getting looked at, because to me, everything goes back to accountability. Somebody has to be accountable for it, and if there's just minor slaps on the wrist and the process just gets dragged out, we're still ultimately stuck in the same position. But that's it for tonight, and thank you.
Thank you. Town Manager?
Thank you. I'm sure Teddy will reiterate what I'm going to say. Thank you for all your concerns. Thank you for the compliments for the team. That we have taken an aggressive look at those violations, not only at 301 Main Street, but other properties throughout the community. In fact, we met today with the Director of Public Health, Chris, Mike, and Teddy to discuss the 301 issue, as well as the fact that Teddy has observed violations outside of regular working hours, and those have been addressed. So in regards to your comment about the fines, we did discuss that this afternoon. There is another order of correction out there that will be issued. Upon that, we will also be reviewing with our legal counsel, and we're going down the path of fines as well. It may be noted that while the fines may be small, that's what's allowed by our bylaws in the law. However, we have the ability to cite for each violation each day. So for every violation, that's a separate fine, and every day that's not corrected is another separate and distinct violation. So while they may be small, they do add up. Our goal, again, is not to fine people, but to get compliance. But if people do not want to cooperate, we do issue fines. We had that occur at a local business that needed to fix a wall that was a safety hazard. A simple $100 fine got them in the office. They said they were going to cooperate. We gave them a period of time. They did not. We started fining them every day at $300 a day. By the time it got up to $3,300, they were back in the office, stated, and we said, okay, we'll hold off on the fines now and come up with a plan, but you have a certain amount of time. They again ghosted us, and we instituted the fines again to get them to comply. So after about $11,000 in fines to that establishment, they did comply and do what was supposed to be done. So we will use the fine as well as the housing court to get compliance.
State your name and address.
Through Ted Tatro, 902 Gulfwood Road, Southbridge, Mass. Also building commissioner. Just to address her concerns, like Ms. Jovan said, we have had a meeting today. Our next step was the final order. Unfortunately, it's just kind of like baseball, 3 strikes you're out. They've had 2 inspections already that haven't been productive, let's put it that way. And there is a letter going out stating that they have X amount of days to complete it. Otherwise, the fines will be hit with everything that we can legally go after. And then we will address as we go. Unfortunately, again, it's not an easy process. It takes time. Everything takes time. We have to go through the legal aspects of it. Otherwise, it doesn't stand anywhere in court. So we have to do the steps we have to make. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd just like to say it's a breath of fresh air to see the communication between the citizens, inspections, the manager. When everybody's on the same wavelength, things get done, and I think, as they say, there's a lot more to do, but it's a good first start. Anybody else would like to speak at the podium to any other issues that are not in front of the council?
Michelle Boulay, 70 Central Street, 2R. Good evening, Mr. Town Manager, Mr. Chairman, and members of the council. I'm speaking tonight to address the vital need for transparency and inclusive standards in our local advocacy efforts. I'm not going to read that. In any community initiative, it is essential that the work reflects the same standards of openness and accountability that we expect from you guys. Advocacy for our residents should not be subject to the informal discretion of anyone in particular. It should be a transparent inclusive process where all forms of support, including legal research and advocacy, are welcomed for the benefit of the residents. Thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak at this time of any issues that are not on the agenda?
Still me, Gary, 23 Wall. Nowhere am I saying that our fire department is bad. I back them 100%. What I don't like about our fire department is if you want to go 4 years ago when they were talking about building a fire department that we need to pass, you can easily go back in Facebook and read them, said that if we do not do this now, within a year, our fire trucks are not going to be able to make it out. It's been over 4 years, those things are still coming in and out. Did we need a fire station? Sure. That big? No. But we needed one. But nowhere am I against the fire department. There's always a way. They need help? Sure. We can go call. If you look at everyone around, they're all hurting. There's not one person that can say, we had a full staff go. Look at the Dudley incident, because I'm pretty sure our police department could use more people. You look at that Dudley incident, I believe it was on a Saturday night, 12:38. They had a call from some crazy guy that they had other towns come in. They had to tase him. At 12:55, there was a big motor vehicle accident of DUI. That chief said, everybody, thank you. They only had 2 officers on duty. There was no crying out in Dudley. 2 officers. There's other towns that are short, and let's be thankful what we have, and let's just keep on doing a good job. Thank you.
Are there any other citizens that would like to speak at this time to the council on any issues not on the agenda?
Good evening, Denise Clements, 128 Country Club Place. I come back to you in regard to 39 Elm Street, the building that was purchased without a formal vote to the public. I did put in a FOIA request, and on March 2nd and March 3rd, stamped March 3rd. I did receive many documents, so I appreciate that. However, the executive session minutes were not included, so I remind the town manager and the council of the law. Mass General, Chapter 22, G2, upon request by any person to inspect a copy of the minutes of the executive session of any portion thereof, the body shall respond to the request within 10 days following the receipt and shall release any such minutes not covered by an exemption under Section F, provided, however, that if the body has not performed a review pursuant to paragraph 1, the public body shall perform the review and release the non-exempt minutes or any portion thereof no later than the body's next meeting or 30 days, whichever first occurs. A public body shall not assess a fee for the time spent in its review. So I'm reminding you that I'm still looking for the executive session minutes in regards to the purchase of 39 Elm because the purpose for going into executive session, which is negotiation, has expired. Once you've negotiated, it's over. Everything becomes public record after that. So I would kindly ask that you do your job, follow the law, and get me those minutes. I did note 3 executive sessions that were not listed as to what they were besides to go in for the purchase of property. So I'm assuming, which is not always a good thing, that perhaps those meetings, which 2 occurred in September and 1 occurred October 6th, were part of that. I also noticed in the documents I got that the P&S was signed by the acting town manager, Noor El Gaderi, sorry Noor, on October 28th. I found that very interesting. So the people should know that the P&S was signed on October 28th. I asked you about the cost of this acquisition and the plan going forward of this special capital purchase. Will we continue to incur $6,000 fuel bills? Yes, over $6,000 for a month of fuel from Tassie's. Also, there's $14,000, or I guess it could be 11. It just depends on which company you went with. I wasn't sure with all the documents, but over $14,000 to insure that building every year. Where's the money coming from, and will we be digging it out of the Capital Stabilization Fund again? Just wondering some of those questions, because we have in this town and through the state the law on capital improvement plans and capital, just capital plans in generally, in which the town manager is supposed to, capital improvement program, excuse me, is supposed to put forth potential purchases, potential demolitions, potential, fixes, what we need to do. It's in Section 7 of our charter. And with that process, you go through that, and there are so many pieces to what you did in this one building. If you did it under the capital improvements program, you would have had to have hearings, public hearings, notifications in the papers, on every single thing you were going to do and spend money on. But this purchase of 39 Elm, not one peep out of anybody when you did the acquisition for the money, when you did the transfer, of the money. December 22nd, 43 seconds, start to finish. Nobody said a word about why you were transferring the money. Like that, oh, by the way, we already bought this building. The deal was done, but you didn't have the decency to tell the people of this community that you had just purchased the building next door with the millions and millions it's going to cost to either tear it down or fix it. You did not do that. So the transparency, as I said before, sadly missing here. And I bring up one more point on this particular topic, and that is our own charter, Section 4, referendum, 1241. A vote passed by the Town Council authorizing the expenditure of $250,000 or more as a special appropriation, or establishing a new town board or agency, or abolishing an existing town board or agency, or merging 2 or more town boards or agencies, or fixing the term of town officers where such term is optional, increasing, reducing the number of members of a board, adopting a new town bylaw, or amending an existing town bylaw shall not be operative until after the expiration of 14 days. That has been violated many times with this community. So, and I challenge that this particular purchase, with no knowledge to the people, would not have fallen under that. But they didn't have 14 days to object to your purchase, because on December 22nd, you transferred the money. You appropriated the money. And on December 30th, you wired the money and closed by the 31st. That was not 14 days. There was no time for anybody in this community to stand up to this council and say, whoa, stop, what are you doing with our money? Nothing. So, and I'd also just point out bylaws and other things that I read here, 14 days before you can actually act on it. So I'd suggest maybe you read the charter. That would be amazing. So anyway, I challenge you that this wasn't some sort of special appropriation, because it was not in the budget. This was not an appropriation in the budget, so generally anything out of the budget is special. Other than that, let's see. Oh, again, I will requote. Public vote required open meeting law, open session, Massachusetts open meeting law, general law C-38, sections 18 through 25, generally requires that all deliberations and votes by a city council take place in an open session where the public can attend. Final action. While the city council can enter a private executive session to discuss the strategy of purchasing property, if an open meeting would hurt their negotiating position, the final decision to purchase the building and authorize the funds must be voted on in public session. And again, I quote KP Law, a well-known law firm in the municipal side of things with open meeting laws. Thank you for your time.
Are there any other citizens that would like to address the council on any issues not on the agenda?
Helen Boyle, 121 Everett Street. So I've been hearing talk about dropping, and this is to Councilor Montigny. You were talking about in the bylaw subcommittee about dropping term limits.
Point of order, that's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda if you'd like to
Okay,
speak to it.
well, I'm going to voice my opinion. It
And do not talk across the
shouldn't.
council to a particular council. If you have an issue, you bring up your issue in front of the council. It's not a debate across it.
Okay, well, the things that have been going on, piggyback on
Can you peek into the microphone instead of turning around?
Piggyback on Denise Clemens's, there's a lot of things that have been going on with this town council and with the town. When is this town council going to do what is best for Southbridge, and not for what is best for some of these town councilors When are you going to do what we need to do?
Does anybody else would like to come up here and lie to us? Thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 9, vote to ratify the amendment to the employment agreement between the town of Southbridge and the town manager, John Jovan, for a renewal of the existing contract between the parties.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion? No discussion, roll call?
Could I say something?
I'm
Scott?
sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Dino Tatro.
Is this on the citizen forum?
No, it's on my contract.
It's for.
Oh, okay, got the Jack, okay.
Yeah. Ted Tatro, 902 Gulfwood Road. When I was hired here, I was hired to kind of assist and try to build a team to help trying to straighten things out and move things forward and get things done here. The team thing, it's starting to work. It's starting to go into play. But I can say right now, without a doubt, without a good leader, you don't have a team. And Jack is a great leader. He follows through with what he does. He makes sure that it's written out clearly, and he makes sure that we stay on paths. Let's put it that way. And we've been working closely with planning, zoning, building, Board of Health. We've been trying to get everybody on board, town clerk, assessors, throughout. So we are moving forward to that, and I just wanted to give Jack props on that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ted Tatro. Does anybody else like to comment on the agenda item of employment of Jack Jovan?
I would. Gus Steve, 771 Lebanon Hill. I'll make this very clear. This is not specifically directed at Jack, but this is directed at the council. How can you actually vote on extending a contract when you've never actually reviewed the manager? According to the charter, you have to, and you have not done that. How can you adequately determine whether he's done his job if you haven't reviewed it?
Yes, I just want to echo Ted's sentiments. We have worked so hard as a team under Jack. I have gone through 4 town managers. Jack's our 4th town manager in my time since I've been here. I've seen what happens with the change in leadership and how far it puts us back. We had the Tip Pot project moved back by a year and a half. I've seen my own financial grants be held up because every time there's a new leader put in place, it has to require re-review of the financials and ensuring that we're in the right place again. And, we get a little bit forward and then we're thrown back again. So I hope that the town will consider keeping Jack. I think it's been wonderful having him in this position. Thank you.
The team concept will continue. Thank you.
Mr.
Anybody
Chair?
else at this time? Councilor Shinya.
I would just like to say that as a counselor on a daily basis, I evaluate Jack's performance as a town manager, and he knows where his strengths would be and where his weaknesses are with me, and I do this almost on a daily basis. I just want to say that. Thank you.
Councilor Dow.
Thank you, Chair, through you. I'm just saying my opinion. Town Manager Jack Jovan, a great job moving things forward, standing next project, make him process in the right time. But one thing I don't agree, and that's why I vote no on him tonight, personnel. Thank you.
Anybody else? Council? I'd just like to comment. One of the previous speakers was not in favor of a town manager that lived in Southbridge or residency clause. Then it went to the voters, and 80% of the voters wanted the town manager to live in the community. Jack Jovan stepped up to the plate, took the job. It's been hectic with the revolving door on employment. It's been tough because it's just the way things are in this era that we live in. It's not just here, it's in the private sector, it's everywhere. But I can say this, Nobody's tougher on this guy than myself. When we close the door, we have a heart-to-heart conversation. It's not fit for the public. But the one thing that he always, and I always believe in, as long as you're making a decision and you put the town first, you'll always make the right decision. And I tell each and every one of the councilors, vote your conscience. There are a lot of clowns on the internet that think they know everything that goes on. Oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. We do not do everything perfect. We have volunteers that do not draw a pay. But I can tell you one thing, this gentleman to my left has put his heart and soul into Southbridge as a citizen, as a councilor, and now as a manager. You have the right to sit out there and have an opinion on our performance. You even have the right to not vote for us in the upcoming election. But any common sense citizen looks around our town and says to me, something's happening. Something's happening with Central Street. Look at the construction, the rail trail, all the things that are going. We're not raising your trash. We're not raising your water 2 years in a row. We're not going to raise. You look at it. What more do you want? Do we want to hit the panic button and put the clowns in? Or do you want a steady team concept of actually not playing games, actually trying our best to do the right thing? 39 Elm Street, her brother-in-law told me it was the best purchase this town could have ever done. But you're entitled to your opinion. If we did something wrong, we'll correct it. I never said I was perfect, and none of these councils are perfect. But I can tell you this guy on the left here is not perfect either. We go to hell and back. But when you walk in his room, he can walk in there and talk to him on any subject. His whiteboards are loaded with projects. Fire station, dog kennel, roads. We've got more roads. People wanted roads, we're giving you roads. Now you're going to complain about how the roads are being done. That's nature. It's human. It's what humans do. But I, as a leader of the council, I never lose sight of what we're doing. Move the agenda for the town. Not for the 12 clowns on the internet criticizing, name-calling, all kinds of crazy stuff. That's not what you need in government. What you need in government are people that are steadfast mariners that run the ship and just get it through the waters and make the accomplishment count. Nothing's more important than a citizen's opinion. But some of them are a joke, and I sit here and I say, I have to listen to this. It is a citizen's complaint. And then you have the serious complaints, which we want to put our best foot forward and take care of those apartments, those things that are fire engines and different stuff that they come for. There's only so much butter you can butter your bread. We have a local council and a local manager, and the bottom line comes down to, when you turn around and look forward, we're heading in the right direction. This is not the time to change the direction. Peg Dean, you look at all the players. They're all in place, and they're moving the agenda. Yeah, we're not going to do everything, but there are some things we make an informed decision. We don't make an emotional decision. That's the difference. We did our homework. Thank you. Any other discussion by council? If not, roll call.
Councilor Lazo.
Absolutely.
Councilor Montigny.
Absolutely.
Councilor Adams absent. Councilor Chenier.
Yes.
Councilor Daniel.
Yes.
Councilor Dow.
No.
Councilor Kelly.
Yes.
Councilor Ortiz.
Yes.
Councilor Provost.
Yes.
Contract ratified. Do we have a signature sheet? There's a signature sheet. We're going to pass it around.
Can I just say a couple words?
Go ahead.
First,
Councilor Tobin.
I'd like to thank the council for the renewal of this contract and for the public. Just to let you know what this contract is, it's very simple, the renewal. It's just for 3 more years. And I did not come into the contract renewal asking, doing salary studies and looking at area communities, of which we certainly could have. This is very simply for the town. The regular 2%, where other bargaining units are getting 2.5, I'm taking a 2. As a leader, I think it's important to send that message. And the only other thing was to allow a carry forward of 10 additional days from my vacation time, because I haven't been able to take vacations. That's it. I love this community. I left a very good career that I enjoyed with the goal to serve Southbridge and try to improve the things that I've seen when I was on a multitude of different committees. Again, we do not always agree, Former Councilor Steves is correct, right? There is no evaluation. I don't think it's in the charter, though. I don't think it's a violation of the charter. I'm not sure of that charter section. Somebody would have to show that to me. I do know it is in my contract for evaluation. So I'm sure it says that the town manager will be evaluated. But again, there are a lot of challenges in the next 3 years. The collective bargaining agreements with fire is one of them. Staffing certainly is a challenge. It's staffing for everyone. And trying to balance that for the residents of Southbridge. I come into this job every day with the goal to try to make the community the best it could be. The community that I grew up in. I've lived just about my entire life. My parents moved back here from Boston when my father was going to school. But I come from a family that's been in this community since the late 1800s. I have great-grandparents that are buried up on Page Hill. So I love this community. My goal in the next 3 years is to leave it better than I found it 3 years ago, and working together with the staff that I have, the council. I have incredible department heads that care just as deeply for the town of Southbridge, people that were born here or raised here or simply weren't here but love this community and give their all. And it's great to be the town manager for that, and I look forward to working with you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to agenda item number 10, vote to ratify the memorandum of agreement between the town of Southbridge and Southbridge Dispatch Union, Mass Corp. Local 478, for the period of July 1, 2025 to July 30th, 2028.
So moved.
Is a motion and second discussion? Town manager?
Thank you. As discussed, this is the ratification of the collective bargaining agreement that was discussed in executive session. We are announcing that the bargaining unit and the town council have come to an agreement on this contract. The chief does have the formal memorandum of agreement based on the clean copy. It was a pleasure to work with the dispatchers through this collective bargaining process. Just like dispatching, and there's been a lot of conversations about dispatching throughout the last 6 months on a variety of different fronts. Being a dispatcher, I'm speaking as a police officer, a police chief, a firefighter in my lifetime. We rely on dispatchers, and nobody sees the impact that a serious event or any event takes on the dispatcher. The police officers at the scene, they witness it. Firefighters are at the scene, but that dispatcher is the first point of contact for that call. The union president who spoke about the tragic fire on South Street articulates their going into that building. But you got to remember the dispatcher that's on the phone taking the multitude of calls from bystanders that saying, get here, get here, get here. So it's a tremendously difficult job. I commend all of them. They do a super great job under extreme circumstances. Someday, hopefully, the state will put you in Group 4 because I think you deserve it. So with that, the agreement does articulate some changes in sick days, personal days, and the like. The biggest change on this, as noted by the through the town council, is the salary schedule, which increases. It's a substantial package for the dispatchers, and I urge that it be ratified.
Any further discussion by council? Councilor Montague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the manager. Does this put, with that substantial package, does this put the starting pay for Southbridge Dispatch aligned with starting pay for regional dispatch?
I don't have the collective bargaining agreement for the dispatch, but it does put us in a very competitive rate along with other communities and dispatches.
Very good.
Any further discussion? Councilor Dow.
Thank you, Chair, through you.
Did you want?
We keep talking about dispatcher. I just want to say something to the residents and the public. And I did the first time maybe 3-4 meeting ago, and I didn't speak after that. People think we don't have answer. Now I'm gonna speak. Dispatcher, when you ask how much the cost, they have no numbers, just guessing. How many dispatcher we're gonna lay off? It was promised to go work on the regional, but that promise wasn't guaranteed. We're gonna replace him with other members, officer or fire department is more expense. So I don't know where's the saving money we saving when we go regional. We still have to have dispatcher at the police department. I believe my chief highly trained his staff. They're doing a great job. I have no doubt. Accident happen here and there, but doesn't mean it's our dispatcher's mistake. Everybody went against the councilors. We don't know what we're doing. We're gonna cost the town money. None of them came, none of the chief, none of the town manager, nobody give us specific guarantee numbers. They're just guessing and hoping. When we spoke the first time, supposed to be the dispatcher here in Pleasant Street, there's a beautiful building. We're trying to bring it to town and operate from town, hire our residents, bring job. Didn't happen. Nobody bring it forward, nobody discussed it. The second discussed was in Auburn. That failed, it didn't go through. And then Charlton, and then different town. We don't know where we're going. 1, 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years maybe to that happen. Expensive is going up. So these numbers people are hearing, it's all wrong. Just a matter, it's election time. People trying to promote themselves, they're looking for the town. I live in this town, I pay a lot of more tax than most of the people. You think I don't want to save myself money? You don't think I love this town? I bought a cemetery here in Southbridge. I want to be buried in this town. I just want to clear it out to the people. Don't believe what people sell you. I'm sticking with my decision on keep it local because I don't want to be blamed in the future when the tax rise or some call didn't go through to our local residents. I don't want to be blamed. You guys vote for me to protect the town of Southbridge and the residents, and I'm going to stick by my vote because this is what I believe. No numbers is exact coming out. People exaggerate because they're running for election, and I hope people make the right decision. I'm not speaking like this because I want to run or I want to win. I don't care. Make your decision, guy. You see what we did in the past. We're trying to do our best. We came to a hard time, not because we're not doing right, but nothing was left when we took over. No road, no sidewalk, no sewer, no water. We took that town is zero. Now we're trying to build it again. So hopefully, guys, you know the truth. Don't fail in the talking outside and the guessing because we have no number exactly what will cost 5 years from now because we don't have a place, we don't have a budget. Everything is rising, expensive, labors, everything is going up. So I don't believe what anybody say. If I don't see number and guarantee in front of me. Thank you.
Can we stick to the contract, if there's any contract, comments on the contract? No further, is there any contract done? All those in favor? Oh, wait a minute, Chief, did you want to talk? On behalf of the contract?
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Mr. Town Manager, members of the council. Again, I think the debate for regional and cost should be done at the budget over the next couple of months, so I won't even entertain a few of the things that were said tonight. There's a lot of information that's going around that is not accurate, but I'll be happy to discuss that in subcommittee. As far as this contract, to the point of Councilor Montigny and the question that he asked about regional dispatch and whether or not we would be competitive or pay higher, yes, we're more competitive. We're very competitive now with this contract. It's an outstanding contract for our dispatches, but it's not higher than regional dispatch yet. It's not there. And then with the new center that's coming, again, I can't predict cost, but we can get into that later. But right now, this puts us in a very competitive situation, but it's not higher. So I hope that answers your question. I support this contract. I don't know how long we can sustain it, but of course, we pay our people anything because they have a very hard job. They're outstanding. They deserve it. Our police, our fire, we get great services. I don't think anybody can argue about that. So I'm here tonight to support it.
Any further discussion, Councilor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. I unfortunately will not support this contract because I believe continuing down this path of trying to make our dispatch equivalent to what a regional system will provide will cost the town a ridiculous amount of money in the long run. The numbers are there. The numbers were presented. In fact,
can we stick to the
Should've read this
contract? I'm trying to keep to the contract.
You just said it. I have the floor. Excuse me, Councilor Dow.
Do it on the council's forum. Do it on the
I am
council's forum.
talking about the contract. I'm explaining why I am not going to support the contract here. All right? Because I feel that going down this path is going to cost this town money that we do not need to spend. And if you took a look at that budget that we just saw today, I took a quick look at it. Well, the numbers are going up, all right, and we have a lot of work to do in committee to get this budget balanced. So, no, I am not going to support this dispatch contract because we could be paying these people through a regional dispatch. Right? And this is going to set us down a road that we shouldn't be on, especially with the fiscal constraints that we have. Thank you.
If the councils want to talk about regional dispatch, take it up on the council's forum. If you want to speak about this contract, speak about this contract in hand. Councilor Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. I also will not support this contract this evening. The chief himself said he doesn't know how we can sustain it over the period of time. I sat down and I calculated out, according to the information that was given to us in our packet, starting with year 1, which is the current year, and moving to year 4, which would be fiscal year 28. And we're talking a 36% increase over the course of 4 years, including steps, because people go up by steps as well. It's an incredible amount of money. It's a very generous contract, absolutely, but it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. We're in trouble with our budget this year. If the cherry sheets come back a little bit off, we're going to have some serious balancing that we're going to have to do. The town of Southbridge's main flexible expenses are in personnel, and when cuts need to be made, they're made in personnel because everything else is pretty much fixed. I've got numbers here. If people want to talk to me about it after the meeting, I can show you exactly what I found. But I worked off of the numbers that were given me here in the contract. I come from a family that is involved in emergency medical services. I served for 5 years in the city of Worcester for a private and a public ambulance service. I dispatched myself. I know it's involved personally in what dispatchers need to do. I've had extensive talks with the chief of police regarding what the duties are for the dispatchers in town, and it's not just answering the phone. There's other ancillary duties that they need to do as well. Never mind what happens when you have something like a 3 or a 7 alarm fire that kicks in, or a report of a shooting, and you need mutual aid to come in to help the local police department deal with a major insurrection down in certain parts of town. It's a high-pressure job. It's something that's thankless, and I do sincerely appreciate the work that they do. They do deserve a raise, absolutely. To make raises because we're trying to become equitable, I think is a false logic. But 36% over 4 years for a person going up, getting a step, going up, getting a step, going up, getting a step, is just incredible. And if we're going to do that for one union, what about the dangers that the DPW faces? I was informed tonight that someone was injured last week on the street. So DPW is a dangerous job, being out on the streets. Fire, of course, is incredibly dangerous. Police, every day, responding to calls, not knowing what they're going to get on a domestic or a report of a shooting. We have some incredibly dedicated people in this town. Do they deserve good salaries, good working salaries, good livable wages? Absolutely. But I was voted in to represent the entire town and to represent what's happening in the entire town. Can we give raises? I think we can. Can we give raises like this? I don't think we can. I'm so sorry to say this, but I will not support this contract this evening. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other discussion about the contract itself? Councilor Shinnick.
I'm amazed that council would sit here and talk about not giving raises to the public safety sector, that they sat down and negotiated with the town manager in good faith, and the town manager brought it back to us. I didn't hear you guys comment that you were opposed to that when we discussed that during the executive session, but you decided to say that tonight. I know firsthand what it's like to have a call to a dispatcher made. Back in September of a year and a half ago, I had a stroke in Southbridge. Called, couldn't get Southbridge to come get me. Charlton was going to come. My wife decided to take me by herself. I fell in July, broke my back and 5 ribs in Dudley. Luckily, a good dispatcher was at the desk and dispatched the ambulance to my location and brought me to Harrington and transferred to Worcester for emergency surgery. I'm just appalled by the fact that during executive session, you guys had the ability to tell us your reasonings why, and you didn't speak up. You didn't say anything.
I did.
And you're here tonight doing this. So I'm sorry, I'm supporting the dispatch. We wanted top quality dispatchers. They negotiated in good faith with the town manager, and I'm supporting it. Thank you.
Councilor Dow and then Councilor Daniels.
Thank you,
Excuse me,
Chair.
Councilor Daniels first, rebut.
Thank you,
If
Mr.
you
Chair,
have a
through
rebuttal.
you. Very simply, very quickly, in executive session, if we're allowed to speak so, what happened in executive session? Is that okay? Okay.
I wouldn't.
Well, I bet
Stop
all I
with
can,
the shouting. Come on, grow up. Go ahead, Councilor.
all I can say is that Councilor Shenya is incorrect in his recollection as to what I said and didn't say in executive session. Thank you.
Councilor Dow.
Thank you, Chair, through you. It's not about, we went too far with the safety and that. You work at McDonald's, you got $22, $23 an hour. We have a 3 year from now to get the dispatcher regional active. You're gonna keep $22 an hour, people working at the police station, dispatch the police, dispatch the fire department, check the prison. I mean, come on. Living is going up. The gas, $4 a gallon. You go buy a cheese, a pound is $10. You're going to keep giving them $10, $20? We raise and we do that contract to make sure people get the right treatment in Southbridge. We're not here to argue about safety and stuff like that. We want people working for Southbridge to be able to pay their bill and make a good living. Come on, guys. $5. You go to work at McDonald's, $5. You work at my store, you get $25 an hour, stand behind the register. No responsibility or nothing. What are we doing in here? Are we running a town? Are we taking care of people? Are we fighting who's right, who's wrong? I think the chief said it is outstanding what we're paying our staff. It's very respectable to keep them in town and they work from their heart when they come to work. They gotta pay gas, they gotta pay food, they gotta pay their family. I mean, what's $30? Thank you.
$28.50. Anybody else have any? This issue is not a real tough one. You know, when you say 30% of $20, you know, it's not like you're saying 30% of this big number. I thought we were doing this to the most important people, the ones that get the police or fire to your problem. And I think when you add in mutual aid, that fire on South Street was a prime example of dispatch, fire, police, and residents all did a spectacular job. And with that in mind, you want to keep your dispatchers, like we don't want to lose our firemen, our policemen. We're trying to stop the revolving door. How do you do that? By giving them a lowball pay? Or do you want to get competitive? So the council chose the manager to get competitive. So if it's $28.50, all our contracts have step increases, all our have stipends. They have all types of creative financing in the contracts. So I mean, it's a difficult thing that the manager does with balancing because the fire's still not done. We still have to do the fire contract, and that's moving forward. And we'll work on it. This town is not burning. We're not looking for a 2.5 override. We're in good shape. And I think when you're in good shape, you take care of business. When the budgets are really tight, we can roll them back. We're in that room to do that. And we will do that if needed. Anybody else on the council? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? 2 against. Motion passes.
The chief has the contract, just memorandum of agreement is signed.
The chief got the contract? Can we sign that?
Can I say something?
No, it's over. It's over.
It was good. You wouldn't like it.
Enough for the games. You want to take a 2-minute break now?
Yeah.
We're going to take a 5-minute break?
Oh.
Oh, wait a minute.
Don't turn off the cameras yet.
Yeah.
Don't shut the cameras off yet. We're not adjourned. We're going to sign a contract, and we're going to notify the ladies.
If they want.
You want to look them up? Yeah, could we have the dispatchers up?
Mr. Chairman, through you, I just wanted to say thank you for hearing us, hearing our concerns, and working through us to reach this agreement. It was a long time coming. Thank you.
You are very important to our town, and we want you to know that.
Thank you.
We're going to take a 5-minute recess. Recess for 5 minutes. I'd like to call the meeting back to order. On agenda item number 11, vote to confirm the appointment of Caitlin Jewell as Inspector of the Animals based on the police chief's recommendation in accordance with the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 129, Section 15 and 16, effective May 1st, 2026 through April 30th, 2027.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Mr. Town Manager.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for taking this up this evening. This is their annual appointment that has to be submitted to the state by April 1st. Came in late, so we're just trying to get it forwarded to them for her annual Inspector of Animals.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present?
I'm opposed.
One opposed? Number 12, vote to confirm the manager's appointment of Jeffrey Bailey as the assistant mechanic for the Town of Southbridge Department of Public Works, effective immediately, pending successful completion of medical screening and state ethics.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion. Mr. Town Manager.
Mr. Chairman, this did go to the Department of Public Works Subcommittee and was reported out favorably to the council. This would fill the assistant mechanic job at the DPW pending successful completion of lawn bonus.
Any discussion? Would you like to meet him?
Yes, please.
Could you step up and, I know you have a prepared speech, right? Say a few words.
My name is Jeff Bailey. I just really want to thank you guys for the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to get to work with you guys. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Questions? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Thank you. Come on, George, it's getting late. Number 13, vote to opt out of the early voting by mail for the annual Southbridge Town election to be held on June 9th on 2026 in accordance with the Vote Act of 2022, Section 25B.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion. No discussion, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 14, vote to confirm the town manager's appointment of Kate Johnson to the Economic Development Commission, effective immediately through June 30th, 2028. State ethics in good standing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. No, just, Counselor?
This was voted out of committee unanimously to move forward.
Unanimous at subcommittee? Any further discussion? Counselor Down?
Thank you, Chair. She's here tonight?
No.
No.
She is not. She's an employee of ours already. She works for us.
We already interviewed her once.
We did, she has a medical condition, and that's why she can't be here. I just want to be careful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 15, vote to confirm the town manager's appointment of Holly Ford as the Parking Ticket Commission Clerk, effective April 1, 2026
So
through
moved.
June 30th, 2027.
Second.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Ortiz. Any discussion? Counselor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, this matter was taken up by the General Government Committee on March 18th and voted unanimously to recommend.
Unanimous at subcommittee?
Thank
Counselor
you,
Dow?
Chair. Through you, I know who's Molly. Just a question. Do I have to be an employee of the town to be able to do that job?
Yes.
I have to be current. Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 15, vote to confirm the town manager's, vote to confirm town manager's appointment of Vladimir DeVell to the EH&S Subcommittee, effective immediately through June 30th, 2026, pending state ethics training certification.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Subcommittee?
Let him go first.
First off, I think it is not a town manager's appointment. This is a town council appointment. I think we oversight
It's a
on that
typo.
because
Makes sense.
we were in a vein, but the subcommittee is a town council
We'll
appointment.
chalk it up as a typo, we'll eliminate it. Counselor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This vote was recommended unanimously, and he did show up at subcommittee that day and spoke. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Counselor Shin, you in
No,
favor?
no, I'm in favor.
Okay. Unanimous of all present? Vote to confirm the town manager's appointment of Molly Blaze to the Trails Committee, effective immediately through June 30th, 2028, pending state ethics training certification.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Ortiz. Discussion.
Molly, you're here, right? There she is, sitting in the back.
Molly, would you like to come up and address the council?
I think she should, since she sat through all those
I know.
conversations
Honestly,
for
this has been
appointments.
very entertaining. I'm Molly. I've just moved to town. I don't really have anything to say, so thank you, I guess.
Thank you, Molly. All those in favor? Oh, excuse me.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, thank you for stepping in and help with the town matter.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thank you for coming in.
Council Montague.
It's a team effort, right? I've heard that a lot.
This was recommended unanimously.
Unanimous by subcommittee. Any further discussion? If none, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck, Molly.
Moving on to 18, vote to approve the town manager's request to negotiate pricing with the Competitive Energy Services and enter into a contract with the town's electricity supply for up to 48 months at a lower rate that is most advantageous to the town. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
Is a motion and a second? Discussion. Councilor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, this matter was taken up by the General Government Committee on March 18th,
Unanimous.
and it was reported out unanimously.
Voted unanimous at subcommittee. Any discussion? Mr. Town Manager.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I will keep the town council apprised as to when we negotiate this contract. We have up until June to do this. The rates right now have spiked higher due to the war, so we'll monitor that with our advisor to get the most advantageous price for the period of time, whether it be 1 year or 2 years, depending on changes in the market. But he is monitoring that. He did send me a refresh. Prices did tick up, so we'll continue to monitor that and get the best pricing for us.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. 19, vote to approve and renew the intermunicipal agreement between the towns of Auburn, Charlton, Oxford, Southbridge to continue the Chapter 115 operations of South Central Massachusetts Veteran Services, allowing the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Senior, seconded by Ortiz. Counselor?
Mr. Chairman, this was recommended unanimously at subcommittee.
Unanimous by subcommittee. Any further discussion? Not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 20, vote to approve the change order 1 to the Keating contract for the paved 25 road improvement program in the amount of $14,877.62 to be paid through Chapter 90, Chapter 90 money. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion. Is that favorable at subcommittee?
Yes, this was reported favorably at subcommittee, yes.
Favorable at DPW subcommittee? Unanimous? Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 21. Vote to approve Dave G. Roach's change order 6 to add shade trees at a unit cost for trees at $1,600 per tree within our existing EDA budget. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
Here's a motion and a second. Discussion. Councilor Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, this went through 4-0.
Favorable at subcommittee? Unanimous? Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 22, vote to approve an contract extension for Mass Works grant to complete River Crane Street Phase 2 by August 31st, 2026. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
Here's a motion, second discussion. Councilor?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This also went through 4-0.
Went through 4-0. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 23. Vote to approve the contract extension for Ludlow to complete River Crane Street Phase 2, construction by August 31st, 2026. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. It was unanimous at subcommittee.
Yes, it was.
Any further discussion? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Number 24, vote to accept a donation of $20 in memory of Bob Bruno Sr. from the Swayaki Sisters for the Senior Center. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Councilor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item and the next 5 items after this are all donations recommended unanimously by EHS.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 25, vote to accept a donation for $30 in memory of Robert Bruno Sr. from Albert Latini and Madeline Latini for the Senior Center. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents. It was unanimous at subcommittee.
So
We have
moved.
motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 26. Vote to accept a donation of $25 in memory of Robert Bruno and Sr. from Umberto Lenti and Helen Lenti for the Senior Center. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Motion is second. Discussion? If none, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 27, vote to accept a donation of $1,000 from the Italian American Club for the Senior Center. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second with unanimous said subcommittee. Councilor Kelly, tell your members, thank you.
I'll do that.
All those in favor? Opposed?
Abstain.
Unanimous of all present.
Abstain. Abstain.
Oh, one abstention, I'm sorry. 28, vote to accept the donation for $1,000 from Harrington Hospital for community gardens. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second, was unanimous at subcommittee. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on, number 29, vote to accept a donation of $250 from the Southbridge Credit Union for a community gardens. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, was unanimous at subcommittee. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to vote to approve library director transfer request of $3,769.50 from account 001610-51100 salary FT to account number 001610-524300 repair and maintenance of building.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Subcommittee recommendation. Did he go to subcommittee?
General Gov.
Oh, I'm sorry. This item, numbers 30 through 33 were taken up at the general government meeting on 3/18 and recommended unanimously.
Unanimous at subcommittee. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 31. Vote to approve the library director transfer request of $400 from account 001610-530-200 data processing to account 00161052300 water and sewer.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Councilor?
Yes, recommended unanimously.
Recommended unanimous at subcommittee. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 32. Vote to approve the library director transfer request, $7,146 from account 001610511000 salary FT to account 001610-524300 repair and / maintenance of building.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second.
Recommended unanimously.
Unanimous at General Gov. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 33. Vote to approve the library director transfer request of $600 from the account 00161051100 salary FT to account 0016110-54600 building and grounds.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second.
Recommended unanimously.
Unanimous at subcommittee. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 34. Vote to approve an extension to September 30th, 2026 for the CDBG FY 22-23 grant to allow time to complete the housing rehab and senior tenants program. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shenya, seconded by Ortiz. Council Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, items 34, 35, 36, and 37 were all approved unanimously in subcommittee.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 35, vote to authorize an application for a Green Communities Grant in the amount of $250,000 to be used in the following projects, and if awarded, allow the town manager to award contracts and sign all related documents. 1, LED lighting upgrades at the middle high school with the on-bill repayment. Number 2, Eastford Road building envelope improvements. Number 3, Eastford Road Administration area heat pump installation. 4, Jacob Edwards Library, 2 rooftop units. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Discussion.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
I just want to thank Mark Latoy from the School Department Facilities Director, Kate Johnson, Pam, and Peg on the work on this Green Communities. This is probably one of the biggest projects that Kate is going to undertake as the new energy manager for the town, being paid under the grant program. So this was give us an opportunity to replace all the LED lighting at the middle high school. Hard to believe that we're now 14 years into that new building. We call it the new building, but it's now an older building. But this would do the lighting upgrades. That would be the substantial amount of the money that would be expended. And then some improvements, as well as the Jacob Edwards Library, the 2 rooftop units. I thank Pam and Mark for working together on that. That would replace those 2 units. There would be a money match on that. If awarded, we would look to some existing library project accounts to reallocate money and then come up with a further plan as we develop the capital plan, as Pam is the new library director and prioritizing the things that she sees. But I thank them. Mark, as always, comes up to and helps us a tremendous amount, and I do thank him and his department. I neglected the last meeting to thank them on the snow removal, and they were an integral part of our snow removal when we did them. It was an oversight, but we thank them for all the hard work that he does and his crew does to assist our DPW. Great partnership between the 2 right now, and we want to continue. Thank you.
Keep it going. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 36. Vote to approve entering into a non-binding memorandum of understanding with National Grid to participate in Community Solution. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second.
Unanimous at committee.
Unanimous at committee, subcommittee. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 37, vote to approve participation in the non-cost fleet advisory service with National Grid's subcontractor ICF. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion?
Unanimous at subcommittee.
Unanimous at P&D.
Just one quick thing.
Town manager?
Again, this is no cost. National Grid has been on us for 2 years. I think every day, every week, a month, they put a meeting on my calendar to try to work with them. No cost to the town. Just look at our fleet and it'll help us in our applications for further green community grants. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 38. Review and discuss the recommendations of the Charter Review Committee and take any action. Before we get into this, I'll turn it over to Councilor Montigny, who chairs the Charter Review Committee. I just want the public to know that we're bringing this forward. It's been at Charter Review. We understand, because there are a lot of people, right away they're going berserk on what should go here and what should do there. We know that some things have to be done a certain way. What's happening is they're bringing them up for informational transparency. There's that wonderful word. So we can see what they're doing. We're probably not going to vote on anything, but we could also refer back. We're open to the public having comments to amend. This is a process, and this is the first step in the process that the group got together, and I thank them for it. The bylaw committee is in full force working also, which I think if the bylaw committee has other things that might go into the charter or not go into the charter. But there are some issues have to be a charter commission. There are some issues that a charter review can do. And some of them, there's going to be a town vote. There's different things that we have to go through, the attorney. So we're looking at information gathering, amending. If there are other things that you think should change in the charter, bring them forward. We'll put them on the table. The charter commission can go back and reiterate some other things or work on them. But this here is the first bite at the apple. Councilman Montigny.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The other members of this board, just so you're aware, are not here tonight, but Max Gullickson is a former recording clerk and a member of the clerk's office downstairs. Matty Bondias actually is here, the current clerk. John Matthew was a retired firefighter, and Patty Dargy works for the school, so there's a lot of people here that are tax-paying and involved in the town for many years. I want everybody to understand that the charter is, in layman's terms, basically the Constitution of Southbridge. It oversteps the bylaws in all situations, and the charter is a document for the people. It is the people's document, and large changes or changes in form of government in this charter must be voted in at an election by the people, the voters of Southbridge. No, we cannot make changes here. We can only recommend that it goes to the ballot or vote to put it on the ballot. And since we have not heard back from our legal team yet, there are a couple items that I do not believe that this council is prepared to vote on, but there are a couple items that I would suggest if the council wanted to make a motion, they could. I will go through them, and I will start at the top. The first change that the Charter Committee recommended by a unanimous vote was to strike the entire section 2-2-3, which pertains to, this is the language, terms of councilors shall be limited to 3 consecutive terms. For purposes of this section, the word term shall mean 3 years or any portion thereof. This was recommended unanimously, and it was shown that it was outdated language, and that most city councils, town councils do not have this language anymore. Back in the day, you could have, a certain amount of precinct councilors and a certain amount of councilors at large. Sometimes there's only about 90 people that vote in a certain precinct. And while this was not written to protect precincts, that's really the only place where it makes sense, as elections themselves are the term limits. And it doesn't really do anybody any good, especially since the people are in control, complete control of who sits up here as elected officials, and they're in complete control of what gets added, changed, or deleted from this document. So I would take a recommendation, as you don't need a lawyer to tell you could strike something that has been struck from many documents around the Massachusetts. Mr. Chairman, that item out of the 5 I have here is simple enough to go through.
The question at this time is, should the Charter Commission do this, or should a Charter Review Committee do this? This is the discussion that we have to have on every one of these when we do these, because if they're not, then they have to be held back for a Charter Commission. So usually, if you're changing the power of the government, so to speak, the numbers of the government. I mean, I remember one year we went to he, she, the, it was grammatical, which was council. It's still got to go to the lawyer. The lawyer's got this already. Still got to go to Boston. The lawyer will tell us what we have to do, what we can do. I know Councilor Kelly looks like he wants to speak on this.
Well, if I may, before I give up the mic, should we postpone this whole discussion then?
The thing is, I want to put all the information out there tonight. If we do nothing, then the information is out there. We had it at your committee. Not a lot of people attended outside of the members, and I want to put this on there and get it out there so people can shoot and slow, so to speak, and then everybody can work on it together. Councilor Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. So I did take a look at this, and I want to thank you and your committee for taking a look at the charter and going through it. I know it's a lot of work, but as far as this provision is concerned, this section deals with our term limits here on the council. We are confined to 3 consecutive terms, and a term is defined then as any portion of a term. So if I was appointed or elected in a special election for the third year of somebody else's seat, then I could only serve 2 elected terms after that, under the charter. Now, I think this was put in there for a good reason. I know we have a lot of people talk about term limits of state legislators and federal congressmen. It's really to prevent people from having, serving in perpetuity without, allow other people to serve on the council. So on that basis, I certainly wouldn't be in favor of that, of getting rid of that section. However, I would also like to point out that this is also a constitutional issue. Article 89 of the Massachusetts Constitution's Articles of Amendment speaks about home rule, and this was passed back in 1966. And when we talk about amendments, this would require, in order, as I interpret the Constitution here, this would require a commission to put it forward. Okay, so Section 4, procedure for amendment of a charter by a city or town, states that every city and town shall have the power to amend its charter in the following manner. The legislative body of a city or town may, by a 2/3 vote, propose amendments to the charter of the city or town, provided that, 1, amendments of the city charter may be proposed only with the concurrence of the mayor in every city that has a mayor, and 2, this is the language that is important, any change in the charter relating in any way to the composition, mode of election or appointment, or terms of office of the legislative body, the mayor or city manager or the board of selectmen or town manager shall be made only by the procedure of charter revision set forth in Section 3. Section 3 would require us to have a commission elected by the town to put forward such an amendment that would take.
And that's why we sent it to the attorney. Go ahead.
Thank you. Through you to the previous speaker for presenting that knowledge. I appreciate that. Another one of the items on here was recommended unanimously to revert back the language about town manager. Final removal of the town manager shall be effected by a simple majority of 5 votes instead of 6 votes, as it's written now. And that change was made sometime like 2010, 2011, something like that. And the last elected charter commission we had was 2002, if I'm not mistaken. So if what you just said was true, then that change was illegally made by the citizens back then because it was a change in the structure of hiring and firing the town manager, and that should have been to a charter commission?
I would say so.
So that was an illegal change made by that committee. By the way, the Charter Review Committee downstairs cited that that change was made by a certain group of councilors for just a certain town manager. That's why they wanted to revert it back. So now that change was probably made illegally. Thank you for that information. Mr. Chairman, if you have, want me to continue or you want to take it?
No, I want to stop, and I want anybody that wants to have input on this section. And then we'll go to the next section, and we'll go one by one so everybody gets input.
I was on general government at that point, Mike, 2010, 2011. There was an independent charter review committee created. Charter review committee created that went over the charter, and then they presented that to general government to go over. And it was reviewed from front to back by general government. And general government then made their recommendations to the town council on what they wanted from that, the recommendations. It didn't go to charter review and then charter review to town council like what you're doing. It went through general government, then town council back then. So that change you were talking about, that had extensive review and that had extensive
Whatever they
vetting
did back
through general
then, I
government.
salute them on their work, but the Charter Commission
But it was,
and the bylaw committee is appointed by the chairman,
But it
like
wasn't-
the chairman is appointed to general government. So
It was
we're trying
independent.
to cut out a
It was
layer of
that
bureaucracy.
charter committee was independent,
Can I finish, please?
right.
We tried to cut out a layer of bureaucracy by going to two boards that are doing the same thing. It doesn't have to go to general government.
Yeah, but we had no town councilors on the charter review.
That's a choice. I chose not to.
Okay, but I'm just saying it was independent. So there was no bias. And then it came through general government. And then it was vetted extensively. Each piece, each chapter, each wording by general government, extensively, for months, because I helped work on that.
If it takes months to look at that, you got a bad general government.
Well, we had to have a lot of discussions on the wording, and we didn't have a bad general government. We wanted to be thorough. We wanted to be thorough in our information before we presented to town council. So if you're only taking a few weeks and you're presenting this agenda item as vague and ambiguous because there aren't items listed, but you're up there saying you have 5, but on the agenda, what did you list? Review, recommendations. Where are the 5 items? All these other subcommittees tonight listed their items that came before a subcommittee to recommend to the town council, and they're very specific in their wording. We get to this item, and it's non-specific. So where are those 5 items that you're going to read off to us tonight? Why aren't they listed on this agenda? So we can see them, because I want to see them, because I pay taxes and I vote. So I want to know what you have up there for those 5 items.
We're having a presentation by the chairman. The chairman was to present to the council. This is the embryo stage of starting the process. And the thing is, he's putting them on the floor here tonight.
I want those 5 items worded on the agenda. If you can't do that, then table it for the next agenda for the next town council meeting.
Thank you to the previous speaker. Well, as the chairman of the council has already stated that these items are probably not going to be voted on tonight, the agenda is written properly, and this is not my agenda. So I have no say in what goes on this agenda and how it's worded. So if this is just a discussion, I think I'm going to... Excuse me.
Mr. Chair, point of order, there shouldn't be no back and forth between the citizens.
He's one of the school committee members,
Yeah, I am just going to discuss the findings that were recommended to town council by the charter committee, and I think that's what it says on the agenda.
Motion to refer to general government.
Everything?
Everything.
And end the conversation?
Yeah.
Well, if I'll, motion to
There's a
refer
motion on the
everything
agenda
to general
refer
government.
government.
So moved.
Second? Motion on refer. All those in favor?
Mr. Chairman,
Opposed? General government, you got it. All right, moving on to council forum. Councilor Kelly. Councilor.
Mr. Chairman, you asked us to speak.
Councilor Kelly.
You asked for us to speak.
Okay.
If we had issues with this question.
We're in the council forum.
All right, well, all right, Mr. Chairman, I do believe that Mr. Steves wanted to speak, so I would ask to waive the rules and
We're in the
allow Mr.
chairman's
Steves.
council's forum, not a councilor. We already referred the issue to subcommittee. We're done making the council into a clown council. Let's move on.
Well, very well, Your Honor, Your Honor. Have it. Very well, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to say a couple of things here. First of all, I did take a look at these items that we have here, and I would just ask as a general government chairman that if we can get this in some more detail as to what the recommendations were in writing. I don't know if this is your final report or not, but if I've seen committee reports, I've reviewed committee reports multiple times. typically they have a little more detail as to what the deliberations were, what the, what the reasoning behind the changes is, any notes that were concerning each item. I'd like to get that from the committee if we can. So just really, I would ask that this be put in a more detailed format, please. In any event, I would like to commend the firefighters for the South Street fire. That was a significant.
Go ahead, Councilor.
That was a significant event in town. From virtually every report I've heard on this, they did an outstanding job. Also, as Councilor Lazo said earlier, the communication between the fire and the police department and all other departments in town seemed to be excellent, and that was, unfortunately, it resulted in someone's death, but the fire itself was contained, and the casualties were limited, at least. So my commendations to the fire department. I'd like to make a comment about redevelopment of the downtown area. That was brought up earlier in Citizens Forum, and I can't agree more that more needs to be done down there. However, I think the town is actually really working real hard to try to find these landlords, because some of them are a little elusive, and to try to work with them in order to bring these buildings up to speed. There are a variety of things the town can do in the long term if we continue to find, the buildings continue to degrade. But some of that may cost the town a lot of money in takings and things of that nature if it ever gets to that point. But I can tell you the town is working through the Economic Development Department, is working very hard to try to bring that downtown back.
Councilor, can you hold up a minute? Excuse me, can you hold your meeting outside so we can run the council meeting? Enough is enough, come on. Councilor, continue.
Thank you.
Sorry for that. What a piece of work.
Thank you. In any event, we are seeing some progress. There's a lot of things going on in South Street, on Central Street. There's more work going to be done down there this year, and so I think there is some progress moving forward. And if you have ideas that our Economic Development Department hasn't thought of, please bring them forward, and maybe we can act on them. All right. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Councilor Dow.
Thank you, Chair. To you. I wasn't going to say anything tonight, but just shame on their behaviors with the new Kennedy running and Mrs. Clements tonight, the way they're acting. She's used to be town council here as well. She should have more respect to us and the public on video and camera. The way they act tonight is unprofessional, very disrespectful to everybody, not only us in town. Everything on camera, everything on audio. Shame on you guys. Thank you.
Councilor Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. Impacts on budgets. We have a new fire station. At some point, there's going to be a question of new firefighters being hired. There's a question of new police officers being hired, potentially. That'll be brought up at some point somewhere. More dispatchers being hired. Town hall repairs. Road repair funding. Funds to match grants that are being applied for. Housing questions for veterans, the elderly, persons with disability are all coming down the road. Schools, minimum spending per state law this year has gone up again, and I believe is required to go up again one more year at a set rate by the state. And then after that, in fiscal year 29, who knows? Buildings and grounds for the schools, we're the landlords. We need to make the repairs as necessary. The previous superintendent had commissioned a report, and there was some talk about repairs that needed to be made. I'm sure that's not going away. Somewhere in the recesses of the school department, there's probably still some talk going on. These are all potential impacts on the budget. Once again, I feel like, I think I'm the canary in the mine. These are all going to have impacts, to repeat myself, on the budgets. That means taxes. I can't remember the last time that this town, if at all, ever did pass an override, aside from a special question for like the fire station, but just a general override? I don't think so. Trash. Okay. Taxes are going up. They're going up a lot. We have renters that are complaining that rent is going up. And one of the reasons that rent goes up is because the landlords won't eat the entire cost of the taxes going up. And then the residential properties in town get taxed. So there's a straight line to them, and the taxes are going up. And the elderly, whether they're renters or homeowners, are being affected. So it's a chicken-egg thing. We want to do what's good for the town. I believe that. As a council, I believe we want to do what's best for the town. I know I do. I know I was elected to make good decisions on behalf of the residents for the town. So where do we go? What do we do? Are we going to spend? Are we going to spend a lot? Are we going to spend a little? Are we going to be judicious? I don't have the answers to that right now because the information isn't forthcoming. To earlier comments made about the development for downtown, developing downtown, you know, the town has put money down, put its money where its mouth is in terms of helping to develop downtown, the roads in particular. That's not enough. There need to be incentives for the developers to develop the properties other than just holding them and flipping them. You can't just wish that an owner of a particular property is going to come around and say, okay, we'll sell and we'll find someone and they'll do a great job of fixing that one building. I think that while I can't give you answers tonight, and I'm not asking anyone here on council to give answers tonight, I don't think that's possible, and I wouldn't presume to do that. I do think, though, that it's possible that we be aware that this is a train coming at us. That light at the end of the tunnel is not light at the end of the tunnel. That's a train coming. I do believe that. So the budget impact items that I mentioned earlier need to be discussed, not just dismissed offhand, but discussed. And then if you don't hire, if you don't raise, if you don't repair, or if you do, those decisions need to be made with good information from our department heads, from the town manager, and from the subcommittees. So I guess what I'm saying the long way is that we need to work. We need to work hard. We need to work diligently. Because when was the last time you saw the taxes go down? So if they're going up, can we try and keep it to a minimum? Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all I have.
Council Provost.
Nothing tonight, shocker.
Council Ortiz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. I want to address some statements that have been circulating. The claims that I support regional dispatch are not accurate. I want to be clear, I do not support regionalizing our dispatch. I signed the petition submitted by Councilor Adams and Shelley Klein as a professional courtesy, just as I would sign anyone's nomination papers. That signature does not indicate my support for the petition or for their position. I respect the idea behind regional dispatch, but I don't believe it fits our town or our people. Having local control allows us to respond faster, communicate better with our residents, and take care of our community the right way. I don't believe our town should be used as a test case for a project with too many unknowns. The people elected me to make a decision in their best interest, and that's exactly what I've done on this issue. I will continue to vote my conscience and stand by that decision. Thank you.
Councilor Junior.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First off, I want to thank Firefighter Morton for coming before council tonight and telling us about the incident at 417 South Street, and I hope the dialogue is open between them and the town manager for the future needs of the fire department, which we all believe is crucial. I also like to say on March 23rd, the chairman of the town council convened a special meeting at the request of 3 councilors to consider a proposed ballot question circulating throughout the community. 3 councilors formally sought to place the question on the ballot despite the fact that the required signatures had not been obtained. I was one of 6 councilors who signed and supported the petition. That decision was driven by personal relationships with some individuals involved in collecting signatures. After the request was denied, the petitioners were required to gather the necessary signatures themselves. During the signature drive, a claim was circulated on Facebook asserting that my endorsement of the petition signified support for the regionalization of dispatch services. This assertion is inaccurate and wrong. My opposition remains unchanged. I continue to believe that the information presented to council in early October has not materially changed, and I have received no further updates from the town. The study initially emphasis was on establishing a new regional center, an approach that changes substantial from the direction reflected in the current recommendations. The report does contain valuable information, though. However, it is important to note that several elements, particularly the financial projections, do not accurately reflect the proposed method for integrating with an existing operation. I was elected to represent the residents of this community, 17,096 people, including 14,957 registered voters. They expect my vote to address issues that affect everyone, not a small subset of stakeholders. My position is the product of my own research rather than statements on social media platforms like Facebook. I undertake this work to the best of my ability. Ultimately, my vote is my decision, not someone else's. Going further, I will continue to work with council regardless of whether we agree or disagree on particular issues. I will remain willing to listen to my fellow councilors and then, based on facts and my own research, hopefully arrive at an informed decision. Thank you.
Councilor Montague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to say, you know, if anybody feels like going back to watch the last Charter Review Committee meeting, everything is there and voted on. 5 recommendations were in the council packet, and there's no lack of transparency going on regarding that. But since it's being referred to general government, that's great. I want to explain to everybody, and apologize if I might take some time to do this, but my journey on everything that I learned on about dispatch and regional dispatch. You know, I've said this before, and a lot of us have said it up here before when it was voted on some 5 months ago. And I think that, you know, I could speak for myself only, that the lack of discussion from me comes from, you know, the retaliation that people are getting for just having an opinion. You know, you got people on Facebook, former chairmen of the councils, like telling people about their wives and their families, and everybody needs to get out of there. And you know, you just have people in the back of PPP subcommittee meetings, firemen at the time, who probably don't even work here anymore, were saying that they would never come to our house if we called 911 because we didn't support this item. So when, you know, you have children and stuff in your family as a counselor that hear this thing, they question, how come the firefighters aren't going to come save you if you have a heart attack? I mean, you just feel like, why am I going to keep repeating myself and telling you why I voted no from the beginning? But I'll tell you again. So in the beginning, like most people that signed that petition, not all of them, but like most people that signed the petition, I too said, hey, that sounds great. Yes, to regional dispatch. My first question is it coming to Southbridge? And I was told, no, there was a time where it might have been, coming to Pleasant Street, like a former counselor mentioned, or a counselor mentioned a former agenda item tonight. And then all of a sudden it goes, well, no, it's going to a different town. And so I say, well, I think I need to do as much research as I possibly can on this issue, probably more research than I ever did on any issue at the time. Before the first PPP meeting, I made sure I sat down first and foremost with Chief Woodson. Outstanding information he gave me. He's not the chief of the chiefs of Massachusetts for no reason, people. He and his department are excellent, okay? And the numbers that he gave me, you know, I was able to move around the numbers that were in the presentation that is worded in one way so we can read it in one way and kind of just, you know, take the chief's straight shooting, you know, discussion so I could better understand. And it was after talking to the chief that I knew, boy, I think I'm going to vote no on this, because the main reason, and he said this at PPP, is that, you know, we don't have a problem in our dispatch right now. And looking at the report that came out, I just don't see how I can get behind something like another previous speaker said that has no location, no longer a time frame, don't know what towns are coming in. And the last, when it was starting to look like it was going to happen, there were about like 12 towns. And I'm sorry, for me, like, I'm going to talk to you like I talk on the street, not like a politician, okay? Like, how am I going to get behind Southbridge being lumped in with 12 other towns, and you don't even have the decency to talk to us about having a location out of all these buildings we have in Southbridge? We have more call volume than anybody on that list. They're asking this town to sell them our dispatch department. So in exchange, the money can be turned back to the police budget. Now, respectfully so, it was the police budget's money. I understand. I've been told that it would not be kicked back to the taxpayers, and it wouldn't be used for anything like staffing fire or anything like that. It would be used for the police budget. Okay, so then I went and talked to Chief Normandin. Well, actually, you know what? For purposes of this story, I think I talked to him first. It doesn't really matter. But Chief Normandin is super knowledgeable about technology and radios. If you ever had a radio question, ask him. And, you know, he'll tell you the straight up answer. So I got down all the technological information from him. I broke down some of the numbers with Chief Woodson, and you know, they both were class acts with this. I then spoke with the town manager. Town manager was elected back in like 2018 as a town councilor, and he showed me that it was the session right before his election that this was even requested to be done as a study, all the way back then, by people that aren't even on council anymore. So now I'm starting to understand where this all came from, where this all originated, and how we got here. As I go forward, I'm seeking out, and people are seeking out me. I spoke to Lieutenant Salisbury, a fine gentleman, another person so capable of the position that he does. He is actually in the reorganization that we voted on a few years ago. It's his responsibility to do dispatch in that reorganization, and quite frankly, he's excellent at it. He shared concerns with me too, but you know, kind of like the chief, I'm just getting the vibe from everybody that, hey, we're gonna make this work if we have to make it work locally. And the whole if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I mean, like, you know, I really don't appreciate the people that want to demonize any person up here for voting no on this idea. It's not even like if you vote yes and we regionalize, we're going to get this center in 5 days or something. Like, this center is so far behind now. What are you going to do in the meantime? Let's say it was voted yes. How much? What are you going to do in the meantime? Well, we're probably not going to do anything because there's nothing wrong with dispatch. So if everybody's worried about losing people, you know, I commend the council for giving them extra money tonight in their 3-year contract. So, you know, I think I'm here always just a phone call away to help educate anybody that needs to know anything about any issue. There's no lack of transparency from me. I haven't had a problem with transparency with any counselor. I think this is the best 9 town councilors I've ever seen in Southbridge. And I'm an open book. I'm telling you from a layman's, taxpayer, citizen, voter's perspective of why I do not want to vote yes on dispatch. I've even been talked to by people that used to work local dispatch, now are in regional, and vice versa. Talked to current people that work in regional dispatch, and everybody says it's so difficult to get done right that it is probably going to have so many kinks to work out. Now, by the time you work out those kinks, in 5 years, you have no idea what the bill is going to be like that's handed to you by this regional foundation. You don't even know what the numbers are right now. So if everybody wants to get together, I applaud everybody signing the petition. I didn't sign it. I signed the nomination papers, but I didn't sign the petition. You know, that's great. I'm so happy that the town could get together and do this. It is not anything like the school question that we had 3 years ago. That's something we've been fighting for 20 years. That was a 9-0 vote up here on council. This is something that we've already done the work on. We are a representative form of government. We were elected by the people to be the voice of the people, and we did exactly that. And I'm sorry, the buck stops at attacking people's families, because seriously, I am trying to give you my opinion and my vote for what I was elected to do in this town. And it is simple. This particular thing that has been pushed in front of us about this idea of regional dispatch has no structure, no foundation. It has nothing. And anybody that tells you otherwise is trying to get you to go with them and lobby. So I applaud everybody. Please, you know, go out and vote yes, go out and vote no. But you're not going to get anything accomplished by attacking other people. And, you know, I don't know what else more you want me to say. I don't know how much more clear I can make it to the people about dispatch and this question and how it has just no weight at all for anything. And why not Southbridge? Councillor Daniel always says, why not Southbridge? Why would we have to go to Auburn, or that failed, or Charlton, well, that failed, and they don't want to talk about Southbridge? We have like 1 million buildings here. Like, doesn't make any sense, all right? They just want to sell the dispatch department so that the regionalization center can get more money, and then, hey, it's roll the dice. You have no clue what the bill is going to be in 5 years. And if that were to come back, like someone said earlier tonight, at $2 million in 5 years, would you look at me and tell me I'm stupid for voting yes, when it doesn't even cost remotely close to $2 million to run local dispatch now, even after the raise? I'm sorry, I'm not changing my vote. Not on this topic that's being presented this way, not now, not never. This is bad for the town, and it's bad for your wallet. You're gonna wake up in 5 years after it's being built, if it ever gets built. What the heck? Why are we crucifying people's families and livelihoods? Some of the former councilors that are discussing this should really be ashamed of themselves. And, you know, you can always phone call away. Anybody wants to talk about anything ever, just give me a call. Nothing to hide here. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I'd like to relinquish the gavel, speak as a councilor, and it's on dispatch. The bottom line comes down to is 5 years. In the first year, it's good. In the second year, it's less. And then the fifth year. I can talk about the locations, I can talk about the numbers, but the history of Southbridge, when it gives something away, and the bottom line comes down to is, in the fifth year, when this, I'm going to call it a company, is going to be running this dispatch, they are going to hand the town a bill every year, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth year, and you're not going to be able to negotiate that. You're going to eat that bill for what they did. You're not going to be able to negotiate your salaries the way we control our salaries on dispatch. Capital improvement on dispatch. Yeah, I do agree with Councilor Daniels. Tougher times are coming. We've been on a great roll. We still don't need an override. I'm very happy about that. But I don't know, in the lack of facts, as far as 5 years from now, what's going to happen. They're going to send us a bill. The landfill was given away. The water to Charlton was given away. And now we get the bill for $30,000 to $60,000 from Charlton. Now we have to worry about our landfill at some point if we have problems with it. We inherit the the dirt after, and they're taking the gravy. An elderly person asked me, Scott, you love this town. You've been here your whole life. Why would you vote against that? And when I told him why, he turned around and he goes, I knew there was a good reason. And I don't think we should give it up. And that's why I continue to think we should keep our dispatch like we would. You give up your police station? Would you give up your fire department? Would you give up services? No, we need to keep them in Southbridge. We need them here. This council is the reason why your water rate didn't go up with this manager and our team that's there, the finance team. When Councilor Daniels talks about rougher times, they were here last year. They're going to get a little tougher this year, depending on how things roll. But you know something? We are in great shape compared to the towns around us. We are not looking at overrides. We're not looking at all types of fancy stuff. We were very conservative over the years with our free cash in all our accounts. So now we're sitting in a position where we can take on a little more of a tough time. That's just good budgeting. That's just a good council and a good manager with a good finance department. There's no excuses for it. But going forward, we do have to pinch the penny and watch the dollar. But giving our resource away is not the answer. That's going to cost you more money. History has already proven it. No matter what they try and sell you, you're going to pay for it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Moving on to council discussion of next meeting day. Councilor Montigny.
Next meeting is Monday, April 13th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in these council chambers.
Moving on to adjournment.
So moved.
So moved. Motion by Chenya, seconded by Mike. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous vote, present. Meeting adjourned.